Hi everyone. Today I thought it'd be useful to just talk about appreciating our entrepreneurial journeys because if you're anything like me, you just forget. You get so wrapped up in growing the business, getting your product out, delivering a service, doing the customer service, doing your accounts, just being really focused on things that are going on in your business. It's really hard sometimes to step back and go, oh, right, yeah, I'm going to appreciate where we've come from and where we actually are now. And the idea to talk to you about this was sparked from Ed doing interviews. So let me just rewind a bit and tell you what my life is like right now, because that might just help you. So I work on Classroom Secrets usually every Monday. I'm the chairman. I will do things like think about the future vision. I'll think about how we are going to get to our next big goals. I will make sure I prep the board agenda. So that might seem like it's not a big deal, but there's quite a lot of work involved in that. I will talk to different team members, make sure that we've got a board agenda that's what we need to move us forward. And I'll do a lot of work on that, really. All the decisions that we need to make, all the things that we need to talk about, things that we need to discuss. And so that's what I do on a Monday generally. Sometimes it is a different day if we're getting ready for a board meeting, which as I'm recording, we've got a board meeting on Monday. In fact, the day this goes out. And so I will have to do more work in that week running up to it to make sure that everything is in place and that people have completed their actions and that there's updates and I've done the things I said that I will do as well. So yeah, that's how I spend my time. And the rest of the time, I will be working on Education Business Club or doing other things I like to do. At the moment, I'm learning more about trading. So I was in the office in this room recording lots of content for Education Business Club because I'm getting ready to launch the first level. And I asked Ed to go in the kitchen because one flaw of when we got this office built, which was only earlier this year, we should have put a wall in the middle. Basically, it's quite a big room, but we didn't. And so we can't do that now because of where the window is. It would have been helpful to have two separate rooms because I'm recording so much. So anyway, I'd asked Ed to go in the kitchen and he was doing some interviews. And I went and made myself a cup of tea, tried not to be too loud because it was on an interview. And I just had this familiar feeling because I've been in a lot of interviews and I've also walked in on a lot of interviews when Ed's been doing them. And it just reminded me of the process we've been through. There have been so many interviews. We have improved that process so much. Now we don't think twice about interviewing somebody remotely, employing them and being able to onboard them really well. We have so much experience in hiring, and I'm not saying we get it right every single time. But one thing that happens in the interviews is that Ed or whoever's leading the interview will kind of give a bit of a story about where we are. And if I was in the interview, I would be the one who would give that story. I left teaching. I started up this business. I was a teacher. Ed was the tech guy. We brought our skills together, blah, 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 blah. And so Ed's telling that story. And I just had this thought. I was thinking about Ed and the team. And I was thinking about the head of people and culture who was on the call with him. And just how all of that stuff's going to happen anyway. I work on Classroom Secrets every Monday, but nobody knows that I do. The only people who know that I'm actually getting things done really are people who are on the board. And I just had this thought of, oh, they're going to employ somebody from this. And everybody's got it in hand. It's just going to happen anyway. And I do not have to have any oversight of that at all, really. Obviously, from a governance point of view, at board level, I do. But I don't have any involvement at all. And that is just going to happen. And I had this kind of moment where it hit me where I wanted to pinch myself. And maybe you get those moments. definitely had those moments more in the past. And am I trying to cultivate them again? Probably not, but it would be nice. Just these like moments of awe where you go, hang on a minute, I did that. And I just had this realization that all of that stuff, all of that doing, all of the things I've talked about in the beginning about focusing on growing the business, getting the product out, delivering the service, thinking about customer service, it all compounded, even though I didn't realize, and got me to this point where I look back and I go, wow, I built that. I built that. And now there's this thing in the universe that works because I had an idea and I built that. And I didn't build that alone. I had the help from lots and lots of people. But I just had this moment where I realized that I did that. I did that. And that was my idea, and bringing that to fruition and bringing people on the journey. And I just thought it'd be really good to share that so that you know that even when you're further on in your business and you might be right now, you still forget. You don't just wake up every day and go, oh, wow, look at this thing I did. You don't do that. And also, it's valuable. What you're doing is valuable and it's moving you forward. And there'll be a time when you look and go, wow, gosh, things have moved and I'm in a different place to where I was before. It's hard to stop and appreciate yourself. It's hard to look behind and realize everything that you've achieved. And I like to think of it as, it's like being an architect and planning a building, being involved in the project management, and then walking past that building like 3 years later, like, oh yeah, I built that and it's still there. It still works. It's still happening, which I know is so strange because I am very involved with Gotham Secrets. It's not like it doesn't exist to me, but it's just not been in the day-to-day running or operations or anything, and it still works, and that is amazing. So I just wanted you to appreciate yourself today. It doesn't matter where you are on the journey. You might be in a similar position to me. You could even be further ahead. You might be very early in your journey, or you might be midway. But do you just need to just look behind, look back, and think about how far you've come and appreciate yourself? Because I think that can really help us step forward more quickly as well when we appreciate ourselves and we don't beat ourselves up and we realize that it takes a lot to be an entrepreneur. It takes so much energy and so much passion that so many people in the world do not understand, which is absolutely fine because the world needs just a small amount of people to push this thing and everyone else to get on board. So appreciate yourselves today, because I've done that in the past week. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm really glad that I did. Yeah, it gives you just a new sense of excitement. So I hope you take a new sense of excitement into this week.